gamers and fellow Wasteland Nomads. Welcome here to the channel. Thank you so much for coming to hang with us today as we play some more Last Oasis, as we try to survive in the savage desert. We're hanging out here with the rest of the Nerd Parade crew, and we've been hard at work, and we're going to show you some base defense tactics, more specifically some proxy defense tactics that we have been employing here to prepare ourselves for an attack. Because we're always getting attacked because we're at war, and this is Last Oasis, and it's a savage-ass game. I am Nick, this is Nerd Parade, guys. Welcome here to the channel, and thank you so much for coming hang. Before we get into the juicy base defensey stuff, I need you to tag that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, and also be sure to ring the bell so you can stay up to date on all things Nerd Parade, and all things Last Oasis here happening on the Nerd Parade channel. So, what we're getting into is the compound El Nerd Parade. That's Spanish for compound of the Nerd Parade. I've been practicing. So we have the defense towers, which are just kind of there. I honestly think they're a big butthole. I don't like them. Some of the clan's members like building them. They do have a small use, I guess, to absorb maybe a couple of bolts or something, potentially, maybe. I largely think they're a bit of a waste of resources, but they are protecting a bit of our compound valley here, more or less, and we have lots and 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 lots of barricades put up around this area. We are basically quarantining this area, no COVID-19 reference here, from anybody and everybody trying to make it in to our proxy, which you may have just seen over on the left-hand side of the screen as I casually walk on by, is a big-ass clay base. We have a big-ass clay base, which is protecting our big-ass proxy. And we've been very hard at work trying to make sure that this thing is protected when it goes down for the hour of vulnerability that it has. So if you're not familiar with the way proxies work in Last Oasis, proxies are walkers that you deploy, that you can't really move them after you've deployed them, and for 1 hour every 24 hours, they are vulnerable, meaning they can be raided. And anybody that's on our server, and I say our server, meaning the server where the proxy is deployed, anybody farming, that proxy will collect 10% of that resource. And it's a really good way for tribes to supply resources to themselves and protect the tile that they're on. So that's just in case you didn't know really what the purpose of a proxy is. We're doing everything in our power to protect ours, and you may or may not have seen so much clay plop down in one area trying to protect, but we're really going all out. We're sparing no expense, and we're trying to make sure that this thing is protected. At the current state of the game, there is no burn enabled, and if you're not familiar with what I mean when I say the burn, is eventually a feature will be enabled to where the tiles expire or wipe or get reset, essentially, and that's called the burn. It's the nomadic thing. It fits with the lore. The sun gets too hot, it burns up everything on the tile, and you continuously move east along the map. So we've set up here now because the burn is not enabled, and we're really hunkering down, trying to protect this as best we can. So we've invested a lot of clay into it. We've picked a pretty rocky area that provides some natural terrain, which we're proud of, and we're trying to make sure that no ship can get close with all these barricades to launch flame arrows at it. If you did happen to catch the previous episode that we did here on the Nerd Parade channel, we did run into a tribe that launched flame arrows at us. In fact, they even used an exploit to which they could launch a lot of arrows in a very short succession. We're not going to tell you how to recreate or do that exploit, but it is still in the game at the time of this video being recorded. So we want to try to do everything in our power to prevent that from happening again, because it is a really easy way to pop a proxy when it's vulnerable, getting more flame arrows put into something that is necessarily supposed to be allowed by one ballista shooting it. So we got more updates coming here to you about the clan all the time, and we're working on, building more of an armada and constantly farming out resources, gear sets, and we've started to work on quality farming and materials. Now, I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to quality farming, but what experience I do have with it seems to be pretty substantial. And one of the things that you can do to not really, I don't want to say like cheat the system, but it's kind of something along those lines. It's totally intended by the game, but if you make a quality level crafting station and you craft something in that crafting station, say for example, you make a quality level cooking pot and you want to make a quality level vision powder. Well, if you have a quality 80 cooking pot and you put in base level resources like a base level cactus and base level water, because there's no tier water, you can churn out a level 40 vision powder, and quality kind of works that way. It's really an interesting feature, and there's a ton of videos here on the Tubes of Ubes that can explain it. But we're just starting to kind of dabble into the quality stuff now in the tribe, and I'm learning more and more about it every day. As for what our plans are, we're continuing to occupy this tile, this hard map, and we're trying to live the peaceful nomadic life. We are letting people come here to the tile and make all their tablets. There's a permanent fabricator on this tile, and we're trying to invite people here to come and make their tablets. We do charge a tax on the tablet making if you require protection, so we'll send our guys over to kind of like sit there at the ancient fabricator and guard you as you make your tablets. And if we do send our crew over, we charge 100 fragments to protect you in the tablet making. So we've got like a little bit of system going on, which I think is really cool. And I probably mentioned this in other videos. I like how the player-based economy kind of evolves, and ours has come up on that. Like, look, if you're going to occupy some of our guys who could be out farming or doing whatever, then at least make it worth their while. Whether you're making one tab or whatever, just give them a slice of that pie, and then they'll go and defend you for it. It's a bit mercenary. I like it, but I think it's a really cool thing. And some of the more roleplay enthusiast guys who are in the Nerd Parade tribe are really, really digging that as well, because they get to feel all mercenary like. And the offer is still open. We're always recruiting you guys out there who are subscribers and fans of Nerd Parade if you want to come and join the Nerd Parade tribe or clan here on Last Oasis. And come and hang out with us. Check out discord.gg/nerdparade. Link is also in the description below me. That is the Nerd Parade Discord, and we can come game it up together in the glorious Nerd Parade community. So besides working on defenses and just generating clay, not really too terribly much has been going on. I mean, we're living that official lifestyle. Action is popping up here and there. Small cells will come and try to hit. Right now we have a brief moment of peace. So I'm going over some of like the clan updates per se that are happening here on the Nerd Parade, the Nerd Parade tile, because we don't always get these brief moments of peace where we can do this kind of stuff. So you may be thinking, okay, Nick, I saw your other video about where you dropped a bunch of dinghies on the Proxy and we're going to try to protect it that way. You know, what happened with that one? And we ended up like kind of abandoning that tile. We left it alone. I did send some messages off to the developers of the game after that, because there was some concerns that people had made in the comments and stuff. They're like, is this necessarily a legal thing to do? And I still stand by clever use of game mechanics, but we didn't want to upset anybody, so I did send messages off to the game devs through Last Oasis Discord, sending a video like, hey, look, this is a thing. We kind of did this. If you don't like it, then we'll take it down. We'll get rid of it. But just a heads up, you know, try to be a good and honest and true nerd parader, and not necessarily like, we still like to break games. Don't get me wrong, but try not to break games to the point where we're ruining them. So we did make the devs aware of it. But we decided to make a hard move into the hard map tile because it's just more lucrative for us to be on a hard tile. It's more lucrative for a tribe to be on a hard tile in general, especially to have a proxy on it. So after the dinghy drop, we didn't really bother to improve on much of the defenses or anything there, and we more or less moved over here full and complete to the hard tile, where we're setting up shop and planting our flag and looking to stick around for quite some time until we're forced to move by the burn. There's a monkey rolling around here. Oh, there he goes. I just heard him and he got whacked. So that's more or less what's been going on with the Nerd Parade crew. We've been working hard and long. Haha, LOL. That's what she said. Whatever references you want to put in there. We have been working really hard. And what is next for us on the horizon? Like, what are we going to be working towards? And Last Oasis, for a lot of us in the Nerd Parade clan, has hit a hard plateau. Because anything else that we would need to do to progress requires a substantial amount of tablets. And I honestly just don't think that they're worth really making at the current state of the game. And what I mean by that is like the 100 tablet investment that you might need to unlock the Titan Walker. The Titan Walker is really, really cool, but I don't foresee us utilizing that in a like a full-scale battle. I haven't experienced a Titan Walker yet. I haven't used it. I might just be really underselling it, but I can only see us using something so expensive and something so massive in a full-on assault, and not necessarily in a like defensive style position. And right now, at the current state of things within the Nerd Parade clan, most of our time is spent occupied by defending our tile, policing it, making sure that people aren't coming in and ganking and trying to steal from the other people that are not necessarily in the clan, but occupying the servers, trying to live here peacefully. And we haven't gone out and done big, massive scale raids yet. That is something that I would like to experience in Last Oasis, but it's not something that myself or anybody in the Nerd Parade clan is like actively seeking now. Perhaps in the later game, we will mount up, take big warships into battle, launch a full-scale assault on somebody, one of our enemies. But for the most part, we've been very defensive in our gameplay. So here we sit admiring the compound, checking out our fortress of clay and building up around. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, how did you build up that little lip and that little wall there within your clay base? Like, how did you end up pulling that off? So we're going to show you some of the building tricks and tactics that we have employed here in order to get this kind of clay structure. So we dropped a full layer of foundations, which you may have seen on the inside. This is just like a wall. We built up a wall, and you can only build up 4 high before it says you can't build any further. It lacks foundation support. So it would have been really, really great if we could get a valley or something that Proxy would fall into, and then find a lip or something above it that we can kind of really hide it. But we didn't get lucky enough with a spot like that here. So we're working with what we got. But we've got clay foundations pretty much all laid out. We've got like a stacked foundation sort of working here underneath, and I am going to get a lot of weird angles on the camera here for this, but we're going to try to get up on... Nope, I can't get up on that. We're going to try to pro-grapple skills our way up over here. And we were able to build 4 more high walls on top of the stacked foundations. It's really funky the way the build mechanics work. Like, half of the time it doesn't. Sometimes it'll give you green. I don't know if it's 100% intended, but we were able to stack foundations a couple of times within the game's mechanics, and I don't think we're really abusing anything. And then at the very tip top is a roof. So you can build 4 walls and then a roof. And you just gotta angle, like, do what I'm doing with my wrist. You can use your mouse scroll wheel to kind of angle it. And we've tried to create a arrow shield, or a firebolt shield, onto the Proxy to protect it. And we made it up pretty high. Over here, this is, like, everything is as high as it could possibly go over in this area. And ultimately, at the end of the day, this thing is only as protected as how many people are online to defend it when it's vulnerable. We did what we could to try to make things as difficult as possible for anybody coming up and trying to arrow it, but we're going to need people online to defend still. Like, this isn't a perfect type of defense like the dinghy drop, where someone would need to have some really creative tactics on trying to raid it. And the reason why we're not doing any type of dinghy drop or anything like that to this Proxy is not because we think it's a bad tactic anymore, but because this is a hard map and it has the crab on here. So one of the tactics in the game currently is to kite the crab world boss to whatever it is that you are currently raiding at the time. Now, I feel like this is a bug within the game, because the crab world boss can be kited indefinitely. There is no sort of aggro leash that stops the crab from pursuing you or your character until you either die or zone off the map. So people can aggro the crab, and if they're fast enough to it, they can kite it to a location that just does big smash. I think this is a bug within the game or an oversight, and I have personally reported it to the devs to make them aware of it, just in case they are not intending that and wanting to fix it. But a crab can smash a lot of ships. It can go through ships really easily. If you've been following the Nerd Parade channel, you may have seen that it made dinghies do somersaults when we first discovered the hard maps, and break into them quite easy. So that's not an effective strategy of defense here on a hard map tile. So we decided to go the clay route. The only way that they can bump clay tiles down, and they'd have to take them down one by one because of the way that physics works in Last Oasis. They would have to use the Hull Breaker Scatter Shot, which I don't believe is currently obtainable. I think it requires iron ingots. I could actually tell you right now. I believe it's in construction. And yeah, Hull Breaker Scatter Shot, iron ingots, 8 iron ingots. It does 100% damage to solid material. The other option would be the Hellfire Bolts, which does 1,000 damage, and it's pretty expensive to make. So we are going to force them to use some of the strongest possible weapons in the game and the most expensive possible weapons in the game to try to penetrate our defenses within the hour that it's vulnerable. And we've done the best we can with what we're working with, in my opinion, in order to build a defense shield around this. Operation Shield the Proxy has been built up and it is in full effect. Now, it's just up to us as the clan to defend it for the hour. If we can hold out for the hour, then we can maintain those sweet, sweet resources for another 23 hours until it goes vulnerable again. Never again will anybody have sleeping... Never again will people have time to sleep, because you spend the hour defending and the other 23 trying to recover the resources that you expended either defending or holding off raiders or remaking kits or what you're doing. The official life is a hard life. Boy, oh boy, what I wouldn't do for a gather rate multiplier or a stack mod. But maybe I'm just spoiled from playing other games. I hope you guys like what's going on over here in the Nerd Parade clan. And we are doing what we can with the help of the other allies that we have on this tile and others to make this a peaceful place to live. So I hope you guys did like this video and this little showcase of the the Proxy Shield Clay. If you did, you know what to do for us. Tag the thumbs up button. Let us know that you like the stuff that way. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Also, ring that bell. That way you can stay up to date with all the things we're doing, all the crazy discoveries we make, and all the crazy sciences we do to maybe break the game a little bit, but also try to push the limits as much as we possibly can. Because that's what we do over here at Nerd Parade. We're a crazy bunch of nerds. What you can look forward to here coming on the channel soon, we have a lot of PvP action. I do have a lot of previous recorded footage of us just running around, battling people, fighting people off. It's almost constant warfare. Like, I can't believe I made it through an entire episode without getting attacked or somebody trying to gank or doing something here. It's rather amazing. I can't believe it. It's not even that late. Oh yeah, so it's pretty late. It's 1 a.m. Never mind. It's super it's super early in the morning. Maybe that's why I was able to get through a full video without having to stop. Anyway, my guys, thank you so much for coming to hang. Remember to take care of yourselves out there. Look forward to some crazy PvP actions and some more fun stuff here on the Nerd Parade channel. And we'll catch you in the next video.